Welcome to Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
And this week, it's the origin story of Monkey's uncle, complete with questionable science, Tommy Kirk getting down with blondes, and Midvale College, where weird shit always happens.
And for reason, they have a goddamn judge. From 1964, we have The Misadventures of Merlin Jones.
They call him Merlin Jones, the scrambled egghead Merlin Jones, the campus kook, but my heart's whirling. I'm the girl in love with Merlin Jones. I heard weird noises late one night as I passed the science wing. I looked inside, and there he was, working on the darndest thing. The thing got up and buzzed and beeped and walked right out the door.
Also known as Monkey's Uncle Part 1.
Yes, Monkey's Uncle Part 1.
And this movie, it's not good.
Oh, okay, I kind of liked it.
It's better than Monkey's Uncle, but why is it two movies? Why is there two movies? It's so stupid.
Okay, Dee, this is this guy's style. Except for that darn cat, all of his other movies are two separate movies in one movie.
Is that true? Is Mary Poppins two separate movies?
And Mary Poppins is like 10 movies in one movie. But
it's one movie.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It definitely is weird.
It has two stupid short movies that revolve around a judge for some reason. My name is Judge.
I mean, does it revolve around a judge or does it revolve around Tommy Kirk?
Well, I mean, it's Tommy Kirk and they should have named this Tommy Kirk and the Judge.
Yeah, with
an assist by Annette.
Special appearance by Annette Funicello.
Yeah. Being like, oh, Merlin.
I don't know. I kind of liked it more than Monkey's Uncle.
It's got its moments. It's kind of funny, but it's still just lame.
I'm going to have to disagree.
That's fine.
I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. I found many parts of it quite good and quite
I thought
humorous.
It was very slow.
Let me read the synopsis really quick. So, definitely wasn't a lot of suspense in this, even when they tried to make it suspenseful. So...
Oh, yeah, you could telegraph the entire movie.
Yeah. But I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with that. That's my problem.
Except for you were wrong. There was no football in this movie.
Okay.
You were sure that there was football.
That is completely irrelevant. Although there was a whiff when he had the football helmet and the Norman guy was making fun of his little puns. And
we'll talk about Norman later, because I have a lot of things to say about Norman.
Because he's 40 years old and it's confusing?
Well, he's more like 50, but yeah. No, it's not that. It's just that it doesn't track with the
and
sequel.
He's short?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's supposed to be this dumb football player, but he's like in charge of the psychology department with all the animals. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you can't watch this on Disney Plus. You also couldn't watch Monkey's Uncle, so I don't know what the deal is there, why that's not allowed.
They just don't want people watching it.
The Misadventures of Merlin Jones. Science fiction, comedy, drama, kids. A bright college student applies his newly acquired knowledge of hypnotism with some near-disastrous results.
Wow, that was very concise and to the point.
Would you expect anything?
The hypnotism isn't even the first part. That's just the second movie.
It's just the second part. And the first part of the movie, I think, is the more interesting part of the movie.
Oh, definitely. The hypnotizing part is really not very good. The second part of the movie is really not good.
But the first part was very good.
The first part was funny. Like, they had an idea. And as soon as I saw that they were going to wrap it up in a heartbeat, I was like, oh no.
Second movie coming.
Well, I wrote it down. I was like, oh, start of the second movie.
Yeah. No, it was definitely interesting. But I still found it fun. And we just talked about a lot of these people like a week ago.
Well, yeah, because all of the same people are involved. The director, the writer.
Yeah, so Robert Stevenson, the director, for those of you who didn't listen last week, shame on you. Go back and listen. He directed Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Love Bug, a whole host.
Shaggy Dog. Yeah. Both of the absent-minded Professor Flubber deals.
A whole host of movies.
He's the 60s and 70s Disney man. And then it was written by Bill Walsh, who wrote Love Bug, Scandalous John, That Darn Cat.
And then
all the Flubber movies.
Like a husband and wife team.
Yeah, somehow helped on it. I don't really know. It's not clear what they did.
they primarily wrote on TV, and then they just, and they have different names for some reason. Like,
I read something that, like, the guy got blacklisted and they changed their name to do some more scripts, but I couldn't really find out why he got blacklisted.
That's an interest, that could be, like, an interesting story. Like, he
I
did
guess.
something scandalous, and
there's something much more interesting that we never had found out about until this movie. Somehow, I don't really know how we missed it on everything else, but we'll get there.
We'll get there in a second. I think we're thinking of the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Because
we're thinking of the same thing.
I metaphorically clutched my pearls when I was reading the trivia facts.
I heard you.
I was like, oh shit.
So we have Tommy Kirk, Annette Funicello, and Leon Ames are the only notable real actors. It's Merlin, the judge, and Annette Funicello.
Well, and I guess I didn't realize, so Leon Ames, another movie that I didn't list before that he was in, is he was in the original movie version of Little Women, because there's been like 4 movie versions.
Okay.
He plays the dad, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's how he really got famous, was being the dad in Meet Me in St. Louis, which had, I can't remember what famous actor.
Yeah, he's just been in, Judy Garland.
Yeah, Judy Garland,
He's been in like 5 million movies.
Yeah. And he's kind of plays, I think, the same straight guy for the most part.
Yeah.
Dad, kind of, hey,
I'm a dad and I have glasses.
He plays exactly what he looks like.
Yeah. But I did want to say, so Norman, his real name is Norman
Grabowski.
He's only 31 when this movie is being filmed.
Which is impossible.
But he looks 51. Like,
yeah.
It may be 45. But he's also was in Son of Flubber. He played an unnamed football player.
Well, right. And he was in, like, Herbie as a security guard.
Yeah. So
but he's nobody. They list all these big movies that he was in as, like, an extra.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this guy was nobody.
Well, like, if you could have somebody that looked like their last name is Grabowski, like anybody else.
He's Grabowski.
But they reused his real name in other movies. Like, they just like, oh, this is
a good meathead name.
Yeah, he's definitely a meathead.
Name, yeah. So our fun facts, did you find any besides the one?
I will let you do the honors of the one fun fact.
Okay, so...
Well, I found a couple other ones.
I didn't really find anything else, but apparently Tommy Kirk got let go of his Disney contract right after this movie because he was found fucking an underage boy in a pool. And
did it say underage?
Oh, yeah.
It just said another boy.
No, it said underage when you look further into it. He was underage.
But I'm wondering... So they must have filmed this and Monkey's Uncle at the same time because...
Secondary fun fact. They let him go from the contract and brought him back just for the Monkey's Uncle because it was a moneymaker. So after all that happened and everybody knew, they still made the Monkey's Uncle, but he just wasn't under contract.
And the reason they got let go is because the other boy's mom found out and she went and told Walt Disney,
right? Hey,
this guy...
Well, it was kind of not... So I did look into this a little bit. It was like becoming not a secret that Tommy Kirk was gay. Yeah. And it just couldn't be held back any further, and he was doing a lot of drugs and drinking and having a good old time.
That he said... It was a bad time in my life. I was high all the time. Because he looks like he's fucked up in this movie.
He does. He does look fucked up in both movies.
And in Absent-Minded Professor. He looks like something's not right.
Yeah.
Because if you see him in Swiss Family Robinson and in Old Yeller, he just looks totally normal.
He's also a lot younger, so...
No, I know. I'm saying you can tell, like, pre-drug face versus post-drug face.
Yeah.
I don't know, Merlin. One more of your experiments while driving, and the judge is going to throw the book at you.
Oh, Jenny, don't worry. The judge will appreciate what I'm doing. Don't you see? He needs my help.
So that's fun. But Tommy Kirk is a weirdo.
So fun.
It's not that he's gay, but he was banging an underage man in a pool.
In a public pool.
A public pool. Yeah, it's a bit off base.
It's not very Disney, that's for sure. Yeah. But it is weird that we didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know how that didn't, but I guess because of the Frank McMurray factor of all the other fun facts, that it just didn't even bother to mention anything about Tommy Kirk.
It got buried.
Yeah, it wasn't important then, but apparently it was important in this movie because this was the movie that he got fired afterwards, but then they brought him back for some reason to make the Monkey's Uncle.
I don't know. So, one other fun fact. There are no lenses in Judge Holmes' glasses for the duration of this movie.
Oh, I thought that looked kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has no lenses in his glasses, so he can definitely see without his glasses.
You wouldn't hit a man with glasses, would you?
You wouldn't hit a mouse with glasses, would you? Oh. Okay, so I didn't take a ton of notes for this movie.
Me neither, because nothing happens.
Well, there's things that happen.
No,
but,
no, there's nothing happens. That's my problem.
I mean, there's a few things that happen.
There's like a sticky situation, a scene with the judge, a don't do that again, a sticky situation, a scene with the judge, Annette Funicello blows up, and then resolution. And then we do that again for the second part. Yeah,
so let's
I just summarized both the movies.
Let's not teleport. What are they doing? Hypnotize our way through this? Let's hypnotize the audience with our quick recap of this movie.
Okay, yeah, sure. So we start out with this wacky Merlin Jones song and animation.
It was the same as the Parent Trap animation opening.
Yeah, it was similar, but like not the same, but
like
similar.
Like a paper doll yarn.
No, it wasn't yarn. It was like plastic. It was different, but it was the same but different.
Yeah, and this is Annette Funicello singing about how much she loves Merlin Jones, even though he's a freak.
Right, which is the same as the Monkey's Uncle song. I mean, it's weird. It's like, okay, this chick is just in love with this guy. Even when he's in jail later on. She's like, I'll wait for you. But
I did buy their relationship more in this movie than in the Monkey's Uncle.
Well, when you have the background of this movie, it makes sense.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Isn't that Funicello hot? I don't.
I think she's pretty.
But she's all of her other acting credits are like Beach Party this, Beach Party that. Is it just she has like a good body and like an okay face? Like,
I think she has a nice face, but no,
yes.
I think she's considered hot back in the day.
It's just weird. I don't understand her fame.
What is a dish like Jennifer seeing a meatball like Merlin?
You know what it is? It's because the way her hair is styled, it makes her look about 40.
Yeah, fair enough.
When she's probably only about 22 in this movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, her acting career didn't go past her being young. Like,
no.
At all.
No, I think she's pretty. I think it's just of the time. Like, that it was just very of the time.
It was the style of the time.
Yeah.
So, then we meet Norman, the 40-year-old college kid.
Yeah, I like how this guy is literally 50. That's...
I feel like we said the same thing in The Monkey's Uncle, because we saw him there, too, and it was like, what?
Yeah, literally 50. It's just so weird. And, he plays the typical jock, and... So there's a scene where Annette Funicello goes into the lab, and she goes in there, and Merlin is measuring his brainwaves with this giant helmet on.
Well, we saw him with Norman. He just had a blank football helmet, and when we see him 2 hours later, he's got it like fully wired to this gigantic thing. Yeah, which is like, what?
And he's like, oh, I want you to kiss me so I can test my brain waves. And she's like, okay, if it's for science. Which was...
Well, first they dance, but he's laying the Mac.
But it reminded me of in the movie World's Greatest Athlete, where she's like, okay, if it's for learning, I'll show you how to kiss. Remember that?
Well, maybe that was just a big trope in the old days of, you get a girl to do something by putting it in the name of anything other than sexuality.
Or not. Kiss me. What? No, I mean to kiss me.
Not here in the science building.
What better place for scientific experiment? Jenny, I want to see what kind of a brainwave reaction I have when you kiss me. Besides, there's nobody around.
Well, if it's part of a scientific experiment, I suppose it's all right.
So he decides they need to go down the street and drive.
Oh, check me out while I'm driving. And people are like hooting and hollering, look at Merlin's helmet.
Oh my god, he's so crazy.
Yeah, oh, that wacky Merlin. So they get pulled over by the cop, and the cop, I'm going to give you a ticket for what?
For driving with a crazy hat? It doesn't make any sense.
You're distracting other drivers or motorists, blah, 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 blah.
And they go to court, and apparently he has a habit of causing distracting things while driving.
Yeah, he's doing experiment. I'd like to continue the experiment. So the judge is like, no, dude, you can't be experimenting while you're driving. You're a motorist. Which, honestly, back then, makes sense, because cars were shitty back then.
Yeah.
They didn't have good stopping systems. Those big-ass boat cars were unforgiving when they hit each other.
Well, and people were definitely a lot more into drinking and driving.
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
hell yeah.
So,
well, so I think the trade off between drinking and driving and texting and driving now is pretty much it pretty much gives you the same danger factor, except for cars are so much safer now and so much smaller, and so much easier to drive. I mean, because think about it, half the people on the road back then wouldn't even have power steering. So, like, move out of the way. You had to, like, crank the wheel over 2 times and get out of the way. It's just... being a motorist back then was a much different thing. Yeah.
So then he goes back to... He's suspended from driving, and he goes back to his lab, and he's experimenting, and the professor comes in, and he has some kind of accident.
Well, he turns that big, giant fucking helmet... and hits it against the console that it's hooked up to, so it short circuits.
Yeah.
And the professor, like, hesitated. He was, like, almost not gonna throw the off switch. He's like, maybe I'll just let this kid die.
Yeah, it was very bizarre.
He's like, hey, hit your own off switch. He's like, I can't move.
Okay. And then we get one of the, I think the funniest parts of the movie is because he can read minds, but he doesn't realize he's doing it. And the professor is like, in his head, I would rather spend
this scene is very funny.
Tonight with this lady. And he's like, oh, I don't blame you, sir. He is very pretty. And immediately the professor's like, who's pretty? And the professor is not really alarmed that he can read minds. He's like, oh, just don't tell anybody. It's fine. This is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay.
Well, I mean, he saw why it happened, so he gets it, I guess.
He's not alarmed at all. Just, okay, yeah, go ahead, go about your business. Don't tell your girlfriend.
Yeah, especially don't tell your girlfriend. Tell anybody but your girlfriend.
Yeah, and, okay, so the library scene...
Library scene's great.
This is my favorite part of the movie, easily.
Easily
it
the
is,
best part.
I think, super funny.
Quiet!
Because he's listening to all these people talk, and the funniest one is the girl who's like, ooh, I could really go for a hot fudge sundae right now.
Oh, I thought the girl that thought he was kind of hot, but in a weird way was the best.
That was funny. She's like, yeah, he's kind of cute, but in a weird way. And, like, his reactions to everyone's thoughts are so funny.
Yeah, he should have been, like, getting up on that girl, like, ooh, in a weird way.
Like,
Let me show you my weird dick.
They could have really they could have really fleshed out this whole thing into a whole movie of just him being able to read people's minds.
Oh, you think that should have been the movie? Oh, gee.
Like,
whiz. That could have been a whole movie? It sure could have.
Like, they could have had a real criminal that he was trying to catch, you know?
What?
And I was very into the movie at this point. I was like, oh my god, this is great. I love it.
So was I. And then it all fell apart not too long after this.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he didn't use it against his own girlfriend at all was lame. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So...
You would be... The best part of this could have been, like, he was totally giving her everything she wants, and she's like, oh my goodness, and that's why she loves him so much.
There was a lot of
There's a lot of missed opportunities.
Missed comedic opportunities.
Yeah.
There could have been scenes of him going about town and, like, getting people to do stuff for him and, like...
Right.
Like, okay, like, when he's in the library and the guy is...
The $10.
The guy is like, oh, yeah, I can trick this guy for $10. And he goes up to him, oh, hey, can
you lend me $10?
And
the guy's just like, what?
Yeah, no, definitely the mind reading was very funny.
Right, and they just... The opportunity... They had the opening, they had the opportunity, and they dropped the goddamn ball.
Yeah. Because he works in the cafeteria, which he also works in Cafeteria Monkey's uncle, because I remember being like, what?
Well, really? Okay, except for the scene where he's getting custody doesn't make as much sense now. Mm-hmm. Because we didn't see that at the end of this movie.
Well, they basically, like, left it, oh, I can help you work with him, like, you know.
Oh, that's right. So maybe at the end of that 60-day sentence.
Yeah. So... But in the cafeteria, he's, you know, overhearing people's thoughts. And he listens to what he thinks is the judge confessing a crime. And immediately, I thought, oh, well, maybe not right at this point, but shortly after this, I thought,
oh, no, I definitely thought that.
That guy's writing a book.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do if you're writing a book. You think to yourself about scenarios that would happen.
Right, because why would the judge be doing this? And all the judge is doing is ripping off crimes in his area.
Yeah, he's thinking about stuff.
He's not really creating much. He's just being like, well, this happened around here. I'm going to elaborate on it and kind of make it my own thing.
Yeah. So he's convinced the judge is responsible for all these crimes. So he tries to go to the police, and of course they don't believe him. Which I was thinking, okay, nobody in these movies that has some sort of mind reading thing or some sort of telekinesis ever goes, hey, let me prove it to you right now.
Right.
But then it turns around and he does right after this.
Yeah. Well, first he fails. Then when he comes back after hearing the judge again, then he proves it to the cops.
Yeah. And
he helps the cops catch this other criminal in the polygraph room.
Which also very funny scene.
Yeah, good scene.
I really enjoyed that.
These cops ain't got shit on me. I like the criminal.
In the midst of all this, there's a scene where him and Jennifer...
Oh, yeah, they go to the judge's house dressed as plumbers.
Which is also very funny.
And hey, he fixes the leak, so I mean, what's the problem?
That was funny. He's like, no, you don't understand, Jennifer. It could be very annoying.
It would also give you cover if you fixed it. Because if you didn't fix it, the housekeeper would be suspicious right away. She's like, why the fuck is this still dripping?
Well, okay. Well, the funny part of this whole scene was when they first walked up and Annette Funicello is, quote, disguised as a man, as Disney likes to do unsuccessfully in many movies. She's like, what's this? He's like, that's my assistant. Oh, okay. Like, it just...
So he's like, well, in my day, plumbers look like plumbers, but whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was.
And then they have the polygraph thing. But the police still won't help him, which doesn't... They're like, oh, we can't prove this in court. It's like, well, he just proved it to you, so...
Well, yeah, but you can't go to court in front of the judge, which is the judge, and be like, oh, he heard it from mind reading. No, that's not going to hold up in court.
No, but... Also, then he's like, well, I'm going to go dig up these, because the judge decides he's going to put diamonds in the peach pit in his novel, and put the peach pits below the roses. So then him and Annette Funicello go to dig up the roses, and I'm like, why wouldn't you just look for fresh dirt?
Yeah, exactly. You'd find it in 5 seconds if you just had a flashlight and looked for the fresh dirt.
Oh, because there was no fresh dirt. Because
No, there was fresh dirt because he buried the peach pits.
Well, he did, but okay. So earlier when they're the plumbers, that's where I 100% realized, because Annette Funicello was like, because Tommy Kirk pointed out all the books. The crime books.
Right, of course.
And Annette Funicello's, oh, I love these books. I'm like, oh, the judge is a writer.
Yeah,
duh.
Yeah, duh.
And then...
These are prominently displayed in his library. Huh, I wonder why.
And then there's a scene of the judge putting his manuscript together to send to his publisher. And I'm like, oh, called it.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's a writer.
We knew then. It was like, oh, okay, and that's when I knew that there was a second movie.
Well, because immediately they're out there digging for peach pits, and the
cops come out.
And then we get the, quote, judge's confession.
Yeah.
He's having a hilarious time of this. We both wrote confession in quotes. The judge is having a hilarious time of this.
Yeah, the judge is having a blast. And I really I like the judge.
Yeah,
the judge is really good. He should have been more in The Monkey's Uncle.
They really enjoy having me over a barrel.
Why not, Judge? You enjoy having other people over a barrel. That's right. I heard what you were thinking.
You heard my thoughts? That's how we got on to you, Judge. This young fella got himself electrified in some way so he can tune in onto what you're thinking. As a forward-looking police force, naturally, we take advantage of the latest scientific developments.
Naturally. Well, you don't have to read minds to learn about my crimes. You can find out by reading books, my books. As Lex Fortis, I write novels about crime. I do not commit crimes, except in the opinion of certain literary critics. The words this young man overheard related to my latest novel. I mailed the manuscript to my publisher tonight.
Lex Fortis.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And up until this, I still am really into the movie at this point, but I'm like, oh, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh no, there's going to be another movie.
Because the second movie was terrible. And that's really why I didn't like it.
Okay, and not to get too much into what they should have done, but they could have still had the whole point of the movie been up
Of course.
and then there could have been a real criminal.
Right.
And the police could have been like, okay, you were wrong last time, and he really would have had to prove it. Like, it could have been a whole thing.
Right. That would have been so much better.
And they still could have tied in Stanley. It still could have been something tied into the monkey.
Yeah, it could have been a crime involving a monkey. It could have gone in a much more direct, this is a whole one story thing. But instead, nope, next day we're in class learning about hypnotism, and of course the teacher calls up Merlin Jones.
Yeah. And okay.
Why, if that teacher, there is no way that teacher would call Merlin Jones. Merlin Jones would be up with his hand raised like, oh, pick me. And he'd pick Norman or any other dumbass because he would not want to deal with Merlin Jones being hypnotized.
It's this. I did enjoy the hypnotism scene though. I thought it was funny. Like,
yeah, there was a lot of LOLs, except for Annette was getting more and more annoyed the more and more it gone.
Well, okay, and the end of the scene was the funniest part because he's convincing him to, pretend he's drunk, do all this stuff, and then he's like,
rape culture.
I mean, it's not great, but he's like, I want you to go back to your seat and kiss the first pretty girl you see. And I'm like, oh, he's going to kiss that blonde girl.
Yeah, of course, because she is sitting in front of Annette.
Yeah, and of course, Annette, being a typical girl,
is pissed.
Freaks out and is like, I can't believe you'd kiss her. It's like,
he's like, oh, I see what you think is pretty, a brassy blonde.
What does brassy blonde mean? Like, what does that even mean?
Like reddish blonde, I guess.
I don't know.
But
clearly Merlin does like blondes because if you recall, the babysitter in the second movie was also blonde.
Hell yeah.
I think it was the same girl, actually.
It probably was. All the same actors were in this. I mean, they didn't do anything new.
I bet it was the same girl. Hold, please.
Because it's the whole Midvale University. They filmed these within a year of each other. Maybe even in the same year. God, can you imagine that today if he was caught fucking an underage kid and then they let him make another movie after that? It would not fly. That would be... And they say that we haven't progressed. Like, that's progress. Walt was like, my pockets are feeling a little light. Come on back, Tommy, for one more. We'll just run it back one more time.
Let's just ignore that. Yeah. It was not the same girl. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'm disappointed too.
It was not. Sorry. Our bad. His comeback line was good because he said, he told me to kiss the first pretty girl I saw, not the prettiest.
Yeah, that was a good line.
And I was even like, oh, man.
Snap. Girlfriend.
Touche. I would have even been like, oh, Merlin, that's so sweet.
Oh, Merlin. So then he goes home and he's fixating on hypnotizing and his cat's like trying to get out.
Okay.
Lets the cat out.
I love this part too. This is the thing, is even though it's two separate movies, the part where he hypnotizes the cat.
Yeah, but this is the last good scene of the movie.
To attack the dog, and he's like, you will roar like a lion, and the cat chases the dog, and the dog goes up a tree. Very funny.
And the yelping sounds of the dog.
Yeah. The cat thing is very funny.
It is. So the cat chases the dog up the tree. The dog is treed.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's very silly. And then we get Stanley. The chimp hits the scene. He's just like, chimp bomb.
Yeah, because he goes to the lab and he's feeding the monkey the chimp. But yet the second movie is called The Monkey's Uncle.
It's a very bad continuation
because his whole thing in this movie was, he's not a monkey, he's a chimp.
In the second movie, he also says he's not a monkey, he's a chimp.
But yet the movie is called The Monkey's Uncle. Also, why is it not the monkey's dad? Or the monkey's caretaker?
It's explained in the first 5 minutes of Monkey's Uncle, but I don't remember why exactly they said uncle.
I don't know, I can't remember.
I think it was like a familial relationship to make it permanent. Like, you're his family, so they can't take him from you kind of thing.
But why is it not the monkey's dad?
Because he didn't fuck his mom and make the monkey.
I mean, we don't know that. He was fucking boys in pools. We don't know what he was doing. Sorry, bad joke. Sorry. That's a little bit not right.
Is it though? I mean, underage. Remember, underage. That's the only thing that makes it wrong.
Yeah.
It's not his friend. It's not some 18-year-old. It's underage.
Yeah, not okay.
Yeah. Some boy. They didn't even give an age. They said a boy. So that could have been a 12-year-old for all we know.
Let's not think about it. But it also could have been a 17-year-old. Like, we don't really know. Still not okay. Still not okay. So there's a stupid scene where I keep wanting to call this guy like a dumb name, Norman. They keep wanting, Norman confronts Merlin and is all, oh, don't feed the monkey bananas, and then he slips on a banana peel.
And Stanley claps at that.
Yeah, because they had to get their full use out of the animal trainer on set.
Of course. Judy the chimp.
Yeah, Judy, not Stanley.
Yeah, not Stanley at all. Stanley gets hypnotized by Merlin to stand up for himself. And when Norman comes back, there's like a scrum, and Stanley punches Norman in the face.
Okay, him punching Norman was very funny.
It was very funny. And Norman falls against a bookcase, and a bottle of green liquid hits him in the head.
It's flubber. It looks like flubber.
It doesn't. It probably is supposed to be flubber.
Yeah.
But it hits him in the head, and everybody sees Merlin with the top half of the bottle in his hand.
And Stanley's back in the cage.
Yeah, Stanley's back in the cage. Like, oh, you hit that guy in the head with the thing. And he's like, no, I didn't.
Even Annette Funicello comes down and is like, Merlin, how could you? I'm like, fuck you, Annette. You should know better.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So then he goes back to court.
And in between that time, Stanley goes ape. He ruins the entire laboratory. That's kind of good, too.
It's pretty good, yeah. Oh, yeah, Stanley going ape. That's what I wrote.
Same.
And so the judge orders him, you have to keep away from Stanley.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, Mr. Jones, I want a private session in my quarters.
No. Come meet me at my house tonight.
Yeah, and Merlin is like, ooh, no, you're a little old for me.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, I should stop making jokes about that. It's not funny.
Yeah. So the judge wants help with this book about hypnotism.
Ooh, but did you notice in the scene at the judge's house in his study, he's got some sweet green chairs in his office.
I did not know.
Oh man, they were right up there with Tia's pantsuit and Witch Mountain. Like, I was like, man, those are some nice chairs.
We need to get that stuff in our house ASAP.
Yeah, pretty much. So the judge is saying, I want to know everything about hypnotism because
I have an idea for hypnotism in my next book.
That the guy is going to not know he's committing crimes, and Merlin tells him, well...
And I can't go to the psych ward because you're the only one that knows about this, and you can be a little more honest. And Merlin's like, no, you can't make a guy go against his moral code, which is bullshit.
Yeah. Have you ever been hypnotized?
No, fuck no.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to, but I don't. I'm scared.
I don't think I could be, but
maybe that would be an experiment we could go do.
I'm going to keep doing the experiment.
And he says, well, let's test that theory. So Merlin hypnotizes him. Doesn't tell him what the crime... You think they would have coordinated the crime ahead of time?
Yeah, they totally should have. It should have been like, oh, can you get me to do blank? And if he would have said steal the chimp, the judge would have been like, leave the chimp alone. Come on, Merlin.
Yeah, but he says you need to go steal the chimp at exactly 9 p.m.
And he does. And he also punches Merlin after he gets the chimp to escape. Which is great. It's hilarious. Like, ow.
Yeah, because him...
And Annette Funicello sees this whole thing. So why in court are they not being 2 against 1? Like, oh, I saw it. He saw it, but their lips are sealed in court
until the end, and all of a sudden, Annette Funicello stands up and is like,
"Well, she freaks out. She's like,
did it.
You did it, motherfucker! Blah 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 blah. This is bullshit." Blah 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 blah.
And he's like, "Oh, court dismissed. Let's come to my court."
And then all of a sudden, he remembers, like, "Oh yeah, did it work? Was this the whole thing? Was that cool? Oh man, yeah." Stanley, you're so awesome. You're so smart. You're so friendly. Yeah, fuck that other guy.
Yeah, because then they're laughing because the bailiff comes in and is like, "Oh, so and so is here," and he's like, "Oh, not right now."
Right, as the chimp is smoking a cigar and reading out of a law book.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Ha ha 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 ha, Stanley!
Stanley, where were we? Ha 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 ha!" And then that's the end of the movie.
Where were we, Stanley?
We call him Merlin Jones, the scrambled egghead Merlin Jones.
Yeah, the second movie is fucking ridiculous.
The second movie is ridiculous, but I still like this. It had a lot of fun parts.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's not good.
I don't know.
Really? Do you want to watch it? Do you ever want to watch this again?
I would watch it again.
I would not.
Would watch again.
Would not.
I'm not saying I'm going to go and watch it tomorrow, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. It had enough really funny scenes for me to like.
I probably underrated it, I'll give you that, but it's not good.
So, what you got?
So, for my only award is the Dickhole Award for Norman.
That's fair. He is kind of a dickhole.
He's a total dickhole from day one. Even one of my favorite parts is when he pushes him against the library bookcases and runs away. That shit's funny as hell because Norman is thinking, we skipped this. Norman is calling Merlin a creep. He's like 100% creep, that fucking creep. And then Merlin's like, hey, Norman, you're a creep. And he gets all pissed off and kind of starts to attack Merlin. And Merlin pushes him against the bookshelves. And they all fall apart. And the librarian's like, you gotta pick all this shit up, Norman, you're a dick.
That part was funny.
Yeah.
So, into that with Norman, I have a new thing. Well, it's not new. It could
Your
be
own, yeah.
It could be like unanswered questions like we talked about last time, but also it's just the head scratcher doesn't really track. I want to know how Norman became in charge of he's like a science geek.
Well, hang on. Just because he's a meathead football player doesn't mean he can't be a scientist.
No, I get it. But in the second movie, if you recall, this particular guy literally spoke in one word sentence like, duh, Merlin! Like, literally spoke like he was handicapped.
They just made him more cartoonish.
But that's what I mean. So I'm saying this doesn't... And maybe
it's just, you should have seen this and then that. That's the problem.
I just want to know how he got...
Football injuries. Concussions.
Attached to this. And then...
and he also got banned from the animal laboratory, so...
Oh, yeah. So maybe then he just got more into football.
And maybe he just got more depressed. He's like, I loved animals and now I can't play with them.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I have another one. Not so spoiler award goes to him, the judge being a writer, because obviously he was a writer.
it was clear.
It was so obvious. And I'm like, Merlin.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Merlin is a guy who is so smart.
Right.
Like in math and science and technical stuff, but so dumb at basic life stuff.
Right. Which actually tracks for guys who are good at science.
It does, because he's so dumb. Like, he's just, like, obviously this guy, what you heard proves nothing. Like, you should ask him some questions. I didn't necessarily have any, like, surprises or disappointments, really, but I mean, I was surprised I liked it. But here's my thing, and this goes into what I would change. They could have easily connected this and the Monkey's Uncle to the absent-minded professor and Son of Flubber, because the professor who was doing the hypnotism could have been Fred McMurray.
Fred McMurray had to have just been out. Like, that was one of the other things I read.
Because the absent-minded professor came out 3 years before this, so it literally could have been a chronological thing of Merlin Jones's character all through the thing.
They should have. However, one of the things I read was that Fred McMurray hated Tommy Kirk.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah, like he didn't like him at all, because he was probably a douche. Because he was kind of trying to make Fred McMurray like his daddy figure, and Fred McMurray's like, no, dude, I'm cool.
Interesting, but it just would have made, like, in the whole Disney canon.
They should have used the same name. They should have kind of made him his own thing, but they didn't. But you're right. You're 100% right.
The judge could have also been the president of the college.
And they could have just continued the same character because he is the same character in Son of Flubber. 100%.
But his name is Biff, which Norman's name should have been Biff. If you're going to name a character Biff, that guy's Biff.
He should have been Merlin Jones the whole time, but whatever.
It would have been so much better to have it all connected, because it totally makes sense. And it really would have been 4 movies. Because it would have been, Absent-Minded Professor, Son of Flubber, Merlin Jones, and then Monkey's Uncle.
Whoa. It would have been 6 movies, because Merlin Jones and Monkey's Uncle are both 2 short movies.
But wait a minute. So do you remember in Swiss Family Robinson, his character leaves the island to go to college?
It's true.
It could have all been connected.
It's true.
It could have been all connected. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Tommy Kirk is, They kind of spelled it out all the way through.
Yeah, so Samuel Robinson was first, then he goes to college, and then it's Absent-Minded Professor, and then it's Son of Flubber, and then it's Merlin Jones.
I wonder if they did it on purpose.
I mean, I think they probably did, but man.
But without, like, really doing it, yeah.
They really could have done it. Really could have.
They really could have.
Even though I think Swiss Family technically took place way before these movies.
But see, for me, remaking this, I just flush this down the toilet. Well, not really. I didn't think about turning it into the whole first movie, which is what it should have been.
Yeah, no, they should have really had... The whole first half of the movie was fantastic, and then they could have had something where it was a real villain.
Or just a real application or something.
And that the police didn't believe him, so he had to prove it because he was... And he had to prove it to the judge, and it was a whole thing, like...
They could have built it up. And
they could have connected it somehow with Stanley, the chimpanzee, and, like, that's how he became in custody of Stanley.
Sure.
Something.
Sure. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a good time watching it. I would watch again.
I wouldn't. No, I have nothing. So, did you get a budget for this film? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't either. There wasn't, but they said that they made The Monkey's Uncle because they made a bunch of money off of this.
Makes sense.
So, clearly this did okay. Wait, do we do the guessing first?
In terms of...
Rotten Tomatoes score? Do we do that guess first? Or do we do your score first?
You honestly change it every time.
Okay, so... What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is?
Well, just because they made Monkey's Uncle, I'm going to guess like a 70%.
So there actually is no critical rating for this.
Okay.
But the people have it at 63%. So, Kat, what is your rating for this movie? I think is going to be high.
It's not too high, but I must be one of the people because I gave it a 64%, or 6.4 out of 10 unwanted sex thoughts heard by Merlin Jones, but secretly wanted because he's a dirty boy.
Sure. Fair enough. I gave this 29%. You can't make a movie that's two movies.
Oh, wow.
No, the two story thing is an automatic, like, 70-point deduction.
Ooh.
Because it's weak. It's weak story writing. It's not a movie. It's two TV shows packed into one thing. Yikes. Fuck that shit. It was entertaining and kind of funny. The last part was really boring and it was really kind of slow throughout, but no to two stories.
That's a bad...
What's
the director's name again?
Robert Stevenson.
It's a bad Robert Stevenson.
And the writers. Bill Walsh. So, now it's time. No, you got it.
I'm gonna...
Well, no, I'm gonna call out the number and you're gonna tell me what it is.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
It's gonna be a change.
Let me take a sip of my drink. This is too much responsibility.
Well, it's not, but it is now time for Kat's favorite part of the podcast.
I don't want it.
So we get this time number 82.
82.
So we're still stuck in the olden days.
In the olden days. Which we've already seen. It's Monkeys Go Home. Which also...
What a great movie.
Looking back was better than I think we thought it was.
Oh, number 100.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have any guesses or...
Okay, so that Monkeys Go Home.
So this is one movie before Scandalous John.
I'm going to say Apple Dumpling Gang.
It is not Apple Dumpling Gang.
Okay. It's Apple Dumpling Gang rides again. No,
it is number 100 from 1971, The Barefoot Executive.
Oh, okay. So this is another fucking wackadoodle, goddamn, like... This has got to be Shaggy Dog meets...
So, I'm pretty sure just based on... It also has a monkey in it. I think the monkey is the Barefoot Executive.
Well, right. Remember Shaggy Dog meets... This is some kind of Shaggy Dog-ish thing where, the monkey's running the company.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be... There's some old person that dies... and leaves.
Oh, and leaves the company to his pet monkey?
The company to his pet monkey.
Fuck yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And there's going to be like some vice president that's like super pissed.
It's going to be.
And he's trying to sabotage the monkey and trying to get the company in his favor. Of course. Of course.
But then at the end, he says, "Oh no, I really love the monkey."
Or they're going to arrest him for doing something wrong. I mean, which is more likely.
And then there'll be a scene with a judge.
Oh, definitely a judge. Definitely.
Can you speak for this monkey, sir?
Here comes Merlin Jones being like, "No, Stanley wants the..."
It's all connected. It's all in the Disney universe.
It's all there. Oh my god!
It goes to the top.
Why is there no Disney universe for live action?
You know
I
what?
feel like you and I are like the torch holders for live action Disney movie canon, and nobody listens. It's just like, it's a hill to die on. Nobody cares about.
I mean, because if you think about it, what's her face? The British chick from Parent Trap, Hayley Mills, she really went off on an adventure with her aunt, and that's the Moonspinners.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, really it is.
I'm just saying, it's all connected.
Oh, poor Hayley Mills in that movie. Oof.
You know, poor Brian Keith, another life from those Callaways. He ends up as Scandalous John after she dies. Like, it's all connected.
Shooting guns on his own house.
Yes, it's all connected. McCandless.
The daughter is so ridiculous. Calling him by her own last name.
Like, can you imagine if you just call your dad by his last name?
By your last name.
Yeah. You're like, your last name is Jones, and you're like, Jones! Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
What? Fair enough. This is enough rambling for today. Like, subscribe, throw us a comment, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Leave us a review, please. I noticed that one of you gave us a 2-star review. So, you know what?
Fuck you.
Just want to know what episode you listened to. So, if you gave us another chance, please let me know why you gave us a 2-star review. Because we are looking to always improve as much as we can within the power of 2 people.
Kaizen, continuous improvement.
Just keep that in mind. We're literally 2 people.
Or also, I also, you can shove your 2-star review up your ass. I don't really care.
With no comments. Like, at least leave a comment.
Well, that's what I mean. You can shove it up your ass.
But everyone else gave us 5 stars. So, you know what? It's fine.
I don't care. In the meantime, this has been Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm D. Bye!
Not the right one.
And I'm mad about his chimpanzee.
You're supposed to sing the other song.
It for me.
Oh shit, the fan's still on. It means I have to turn it off, doesn't it?
Can you hear it?
Not really, no. Just leave it
No,
on. Show us the fans, Uncle Yeah.
Are you signed into it?
Yeah.
Well, then you can just pull up the list and I'll do the numbers.
Let me make sure I'm signed in, though. I was signed in.
I was going to say, bring it up. What's the number? Is it 416?
That it should be up to?
Yeah.
Yes, 416.
Okay. Parf. Purd is the word.
Ow.
Sorry. My baby dog. Well, no.
Move the table closer. It's not even on your side. That's part of the problem.
It's not even. I'm not even. I can't even. Oh my god.
Is that
I
better?
can't even. He's friendly.
This is definitely a sipping cocktail, not a gulping.
It's a sipper. It's a sipper. You gotta sip it.
Okay.
Sipper.
Oh, Jesus, we haven't done this in a while. 7 minutes later. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. What are you doing?
I don't know. This thing was falling out. kicking this. With
Yeah,
my
don't
foot.
kick things because it makes it difficult for me.
Well, yeah, no, I got it. It just
It makes it challenging.
it's not intentional. It's just in the way of my foot.